Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the fuck it is?
Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut cocaine. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Fuck being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism,
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bitch bag holders.
Rollers, clip loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
We are coming to y'all from the Berg. That is Pittsburgh. Yo, why the fuck are Jamaican women so fucking aggressive? So y'all know, anytime I check into my hotel, and I usually get where I'm going first, because either on very now rare occasions, I got to be there the night before because I got to do morning press, which is to say Andy will come in the day of the show much, much later.
You know, I just have you set it up so I can come in and knock it down.
Yeah. And I always, when I check into the hotel, inquire about what floor or what room Mr. Steinberg is in, because if we're not on the same floor, I then tell her, yo, could you put him on the same floor as me? Because when we do the podcast, 99.9% of the time we do it in his room. He's got the equipment. He sets it up. It's a much cleaner environment. Piss ain't all over his toilet seat.
I keep my room nice.
Yeah. So I say that to say when he's on the same floor as me, and I got to bring my chair to his room, it's an easier transition because, you know, boom, got the wheels on it. I just wheel it down his room. Door's already open. I come in. There it is. But every now and then I have a brain fart and I forget to do things. So I didn't ask them to put Andy on the same floor as me. He's on the second floor. I'm on the fourth floor. I'm wheeling my chair to the elevator. And the Jamaican housekeeper, she's not just a housekeeper. First of all, I seen this little maid twice. One little black maid. She looked like Harriet Tubman. She's about 3'4". Literally, she's like a midget, and she's dressed like Harriet Tubman with a head wrap. But the main lady that's in charge of all the housekeeping is a 6'2" Jamaican woman. Where you going with that chair? I said, first of all, she asked me this like I'm taking the motherfucker home. Where you going with the chair, sir? I said, I'm going to another room. 3 times she asked me, so you're going to a room with a chair? Yeah, I'm going to another room. What you doing when you get there with the room with the chair? I said, I'm going to go to another room. When I'm done, I'm going to bring it back. You don't have to get loud with me, sir. I'm just asking what you're doing with the chair. I said, and then I started doing my Jamaican accent. I told you where I'm going with the chair. She said, you can say or talk however you like, but I'm just doing my job. I said, me too. Boyaka.
Did you say that?
Yes.
What'd she do?
Yeah, she didn't say nothing. But as I got on the elevator, I went, Boyaka. Jesus Christ, man.
Dude, that's the second time, though, someone's called
Jamaican.
you. It was a Jamaican the last time, too?
Yes. Like, geez, motherfuckers is aggressive.
They're just doing their job, man.
You definitely have to make sure you ask a Jamaican woman if y'all can have sex. You can't just pull your dick out. What you doing with your dick out like that? Sir, why you pull your dick out? What you plan on doing? I should have told her, I'm taking the chair to the room so I can sit in it butt naked and let the cool breeze of the air conditioning shoot all over my body. And when I get sleepy from the breeze, I could just pass out of the chair, butt get naked. Damn, bitch. So we're in Pittsburgh.
All that to say we're in Pittsburgh.
Home of Burt Bridgewater. Because he does what a real man does. A real man, when he needs to get his teeth clean, doesn't go to the dentist. He has his best friend knock out all his teeth, and then he washes each tooth by hand in the sink. And when it's time for him to put his teeth back in his mouth, he has the same friend punch him in place. You know, me and Andy yesterday, we went to a taco place. We were
Shorty's Tacos.
Shorty's Tacos. And they have a Jimmy John's right next door. And I really wanted Jimmy John's. But Andy said something interesting. while we were eating the tacos because they were trash. And he said, knowing what I know now, he said, I would have regretted having gotten Jimmy John's, knowing that we didn't try this taco place, but knowing what we know now about these tacos, I wish we got Jimmy John's. And I echoed that because, and you said something interesting. You're from Phoenix, and these tacos, and listen, to me, tacos is a food that I feel like you can't go wrong in terms of flavor because of all of what goes on a taco, the meat. Now, obviously, you could season the meat, be it chicken or beef or steak, or what do you call it? Carne asada? How you say that?
Carne asada is beef.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But, there's the flavor of cheese. There's the flavor of lime. If you squeeze a little lime over it, there's the flavor of lettuce, tomatoes. So I just feel like it's one of those things that in terms of flavor is automatic. But again, when I had that Mexican food at that place in San Antonio, God, those flour tortillas with that beef and the fucking cheese and the lime, it just exploded every bite. These were the most non-flavorful fucking tacos I ever had. I had a chorizo and it was $7 a taco. So
that's the other thing that made me mad. $7 for a taco.
What is this, velvet? I had a chorizo taco and I had a carne asada taco. And the most flavorful thing on there was the fucking, what they called it. It was a different kind of ranch, like a spicy pepper ranch that we got for our chicken wings, which were, the whole fucking thing was just like, ugh.
Yeah, the wings weren't crispy.
They weren't crispy. And I said
they were seasoned well. They just weren't crispy.
But the seasoning was wild to me.
You didn't like it?
Nah, you said it tasted like the tacos should have tasted.
Yeah, it did. But I expect something like that at a taco place.
Yeah.
But it's everybody thinks they can make a taco. You can't. It's not as easy to make a taco as you think. Now, if you're making carnitas, I'm going to say honestly, pork. If you're doing pork, it's a little easier because pork comes with that flavor.
The fat.
Yeah, and you put a few spices on it. It really pops the flavor.
Right.
But when you start dealing with, the meats, the chicken, beef, chicken, you got to know what you're doing. And they didn't know what they were doing.
And the funny thing is, I'm talking to my broad and she was like, how do you, fuck up tacos? I said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if this was a factor, but, this taco place used to be a Bar Louie. So the setup is still the exact same in terms of the interior where the bar is. You could see the cooks cooking in the kitchen. I'm like, yo, you got niggas making tacos, B. She said it should have been some Mexicans. You had two niggas making tacos. So that's why I think it was fucked up. But black people, we know how to flavor shit, though. We flavor shit.
Yeah, but so I don't know what happened when you got behind the taco machine. You got scared.
Yeah, I don't know. But
listen, anybody can cook. It's just sometimes they don't like to put a lot of flavor in it because in the Midwest. See, I always feel like I'm alienating people when I say this. In the middle of the country, the Midwest, white folks in the Midwest don't want a lot of spice on their food. They don't like things to have that,
Where are you getting that from? How do you? What are you basing that off of?
Everything I know from cooking, man.
Okay, well, why say white folks? Why you?
Because white folks in the Midwest have a very neutral palate, like salt and pepper is,
and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying all white folks. I'm just saying in the Midwest, it's very common. Salt and pepper, ketchup, are the main condiments out here.
Right.
And like on a steak for me, seriously, a steak, medium, with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. That's enough for me. I mean, on a steak, grilled. I want to taste the char. I want to taste the meat. If it's a good steak, if it's a shitty steak, if it's a chuck steak, yeah, put some garlic powder, salt, put everything on a hot salt, whatever you need to do to make it. But if it's a good steak, if it's a good piece of meat, then I'm just doing salt and pepper. And I get that to make it minimal. But tacos, things that need flavor, you gotta amp those up.
Right.
So it's just the way it is out here.
When I generally make tacos, I mean, I season the ground beef, a little Lowry seasoning, salt, some onion powder, garlic powder. If I really want to throw a little bit of kick into it, some paprika.
Cumin, baby. You need some cumin.
cumin. That sounds like what a Jamaican man say before he nut. Oh, girl, I'm cumin. Holy shit, I'm cumin. Where you gonna put that semen? What are you gonna do with that semen? When you finish with it, you're gonna put it back in your dick? Nah, girl, once I cumin, that's it. All right. Yeah, so some of that. And then look, I like taco sauce on my taco. And listen, this is where I'm gonna get like this nigga. Homemade tacos with the shells, the hard corn shells.
The pan-fried taco.
I don't do none of that. I just do the
you like
the seasoning in the pack, little Ortega taco seasoning sauce, and I'm good, baby.
No, I mean, you can do that. You can do that. That's not
that would have tasted better than what we had,
probably. But yeah, but you put too much cheese on your food, man. On your Mexican food, it did like little steak tacos, just with a little white onion and a little. I was gonna say I forgot the fucking word for it. It's like parsley, but it's Mexican parsley.
Oregano.
No. I see, I fucked up already. But anyway, basic, clean food like that with a little bit of flavor and then a little salsa, green, red, whatever you want to do. But Christmas style, green and red, whatever, however you want to do it. Lime juice. But I want to taste that shit.
They what's a popular staple out here in the Berg is a place called, how do you say that?
Permonte Brothers.
Permonte Brothers. Great sandwiches, burgers, right?
Yeah.
But here's what they do.
This is good.
This is the staple out here. They put fries on the sandwich.
It's good.
That is stupid.
He's good.
Fries don't belong on a goddamn sandwich.
It's good.
Get the fuck out of here.
Even Burger King for a while started putting fries on their burger.
That's terrible.
No, man,
that's good. Like fucking a woman with her underwear on.
No,
and you move it to the side.
No, that's like it's like fucking a woman with her underwear on. You rip them underwear, and then that's what a fries is in it. It's aggressive and delicious.
Jesus, take it easy, buddy.
It was a good sandwich, man. What can I tell you?
I thought I knew you. Yeah, man. Why would I put my fries on my fucking burger? It tastes
good.
No, it doesn't. That's
it's
stupid.
So good. One of their staple sandwiches out here is rye bread with corned beef, pastrami, sauerkraut, cheese, fries.
Not a sauerkraut fan. Never have been. Not a relish fan. Not a fucking corned beef fan. Dude, explain corned beef to me. That just seems like a dry sandwich.
No, it's delicious and it's not dry at all. And you don't have to put a lot of corned beef. I prefer coleslaw I prefer coleslaw over the sauerkraut, but I just do a little bit because I like the little bit of crunch in the food. But then the fries in it and those seasoned, they season those fries up nice too. So good.
Potatoes on your sandwich.
So good.
Oh, blasphemy.
You never had like a potato where you dig out a lot of the potato and so you have the skin, a little bit of potato, some cheese, and you put some meat in there. And
yo.
No? Oh man,
the most I get in terms of a potato with meat is potato skins. A little bit of bacon.
Oh, dude, I used to make these ground beef and potato tacos where you cut up these potatoes real kind of small, and then you cook them up, and then you mix those in with the ground beef, and you put that into your taco shell, man. Because I like crispy tacos. I like
soft too, though.
I do both. Too, but I like angry food. I like that
angry food.
Yeah, I like hearing crunch in my head. I like that. That's why I like
fight in your mouth.
Like I like chips. Right. I like anything that's crunch. That's why I like watermelon. Watermelon, good watermelon has that crunch, but the sweetness and the way that is.
Dude, let me tell you something. I was excited when I saw it. Remember how we talked about how you don't see seeds in watermelons anymore?
Yeah.
And we said, I think you alluded to, it's because whatever they do to the watermelons now. And it was like, remember back in the 60s, 70s, way before, once upon a time ago, when black seeds came in watermelon and it was sweet than a motherfucker. So I was recently in Whole Foods and I saw black seeded watermelons.
Yeah.
Man, I ran home. I could not wait. Horrible.
Because
the sweetness is gone.
Was it not ripe? Maybe it wasn't ripe enough
Dude,
yet.
I'm telling you, watermelons are not the same anymore. The sweetness of that 70s, 80s time, gone. Watermelons are not sweet anymore.
If a watermelon's really good is when you can see right around where the seeds area is, there's like that little, it changes like a little bit of a texture and has like a sugariness in there, right in there. And that's where
Man, once upon a time ago, I remember as a kid in the 80s growing up, when my mother and father brought home watermelon, man, you bit into that motherfucker and your eyes rolled and you just,
My parents, when they got this house, we were by the Air Force Base, Davis Mountain Air Force Base in Tucson, and our neighbor was a construction worker, and he built this picnic table for his backyard. And my mom asked him if they would build one, and she'd pay for him to build one. So they built one, and that was the best thing because that had the picnic table out in the backyard. And when my dad would bring home a watermelon, we'd just slice it up in the backyard because he'd bring it home. It was cold. It was cold we'd slice it up back there, and the juices are going on. And he wouldn't even clean. You don't clean that. He would just bring out the hose and hose it because it was just so juicy. The watermelon was so good, and the seeds were all over the place and everything.
And dude, now here's what watermelon tastes like. When you get down to the rind, that's what the whole thing tastes like now.
No, I just got a good one the other day, and then I got it at Trader Joe's, and then I went back, and I wasn't being. I just thought it was a good batch. I wasn't being as selective. I didn't look as well. I just knocked on a little bit. Had the sound was right, so I grabbed it, brought it home. Just wasn't right. Just wasn't right at all. It was like very little of it was sweet, but then but the one I got before, I got to tell you, was one of the best watermelons I had.
And how
in a long
long
time.
ago was this?
That was just 2 weeks before we went to Portland, San Francisco.
Do you get your watermelons pre-cut or you whole and you do it yourself?
Whole, and I do it myself if I can. Otherwise, if I don't like how they're coming out, then I look for a good one. But it's hard to tell, man, because they're growing them in these greenhouses now, out of season, and they look good. They look red. They look like they're good, and then you get them home, they don't taste good.
Man, damn.
But see, it should have been good at the one from Whole Foods because that's the ones that they're using. I forgot what the word is, but a certain kind of not antique, something seed where there's seeds that are they haven't been ruined by this GMO way of doing food. So I don't know. It's still there. You just got to look hard, and you got to actually take the watermelon and look at this. You want some with that little bit of yellow and green all on it, and there has to be some yellow, and then you knock on it. And it has to have that barrel sound in it, and then that's usually a good, decent one.
Damn.
Then you get lucky, and they're great.
Remember a time when you didn't have to get lucky?
No, they were
just what it was.
My stepdad worked in the produce department,
right?
And so when he brought home a watermelon. It was generally, it was a good one.
I told Andy yesterday at the club, I was a bit disappointed in myself because this is why, like sometimes, again, I said this before, as comics, yes, you can be in the moment and you can say something funny, but then sometimes, regrettably so, it's always after the fact when you've had time to think where you missed beats and jokes that it's too late to put back. When I did the thing where I said, white people have been dealing with M&Ms forever. They don't know about Pucks, nigga. They know packs. They go into a 7-Eleven. Excuse me, Mr. Indian, please give me 2 packs of Marlboro Reds. I didn't think of this until after the fact, but I was like, damn it. It'd have been funny if I also added, and white people only know packs, especially when dealing with the police. Police officer, please, help me. I'm being chased by 2 packs of niggas. I wish I would have remembered to say that, but I didn't.
Dude, you had a lot to say at the shows, though, this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That one nigga, boy, drunk ass motherfucker. There was something else. Oh, real quick. So let's touch a little bit of, I'm going to mention it because we're here. And Brandon from the UK, before you get all upset, we're actually going to be talking about a British action movie. So we're going to just quickly graze over basketball, which is sports, which we know you don't like, cocksucker. But we're going to talk about a movie from the UK. So stick around, Brandon. It might not be as bad as you think.
It's a basketball movie from the UK. I'm just kidding.
Listen, you know, I don't know where the NBA is headed. Once upon a time ago, yes, Magic and Bird in the 80s were the face. In the 90s, Jordan was the face. After that, it was Kobe, LeBron.
Don't forget Shaq.
I mean, but
Yeah.
I really thought, and he still may be, Zion Williams was going to be the next big thing. But I don't know. But I'm saying that to say my interest in the NBA is really starting to wane because I've had no interest in this series between the Nuggets and the Heat.
It's been such a good series, too.
No, but it ain't been competitive.
It has been competitive.
3 and 1 ain't competitive.
But the first two games, it's about the score of the game. And the first two were very competitive. The third one, even that one was competitive. The last one wasn't as competitive, but they've been great games.
And now this is going to end 4-1.
Maybe.
No, it's over. It's over. They're back in Denver.
I think it's over, but that doesn't mean it is over. I think I thought it was going to be 4-1 anyway. That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought that no matter what, Miami would grab one, and they did. I was surprised that they grabbed it where they did. I thought they would get it back at home.
Right.
But I think the games have been good. Butler just has not been able to come unglued. Denver's dude. It's a full functional team, man. That starting lineup is a great lineup, and then they have switches that work. They have a nice team, man. They really do.
Yeah, they have a championship team, which is what they're going to be, champions.
Yeah, and when you got the guard play you have from Murray, and you got the Joker who can throw a pass to almost anyone at any time. I mean, and then you got great players. I mean, these guys they're fully skilled NBA players and they're on the right team for them, but they're also large and they can really defend. And it gets me excited for next year. I'd like to see what Phoenix builds up. I'm just going to love to see the games. I don't know what Phoenix puts together that could get around this, but this is a great team. It's going to be, I think next year is going to be a great year for basketball.
Well, I mentioned this more to get to what I really wanted to mention. So I was, as you and I came back from big gyms in the run here in Pittsburgh, again, the second time we've been, I think the fourth time I've been from my show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Before we did the podcast, I'm in my room, I'm laying down, I'm watching the TV, and I glanced across ESPN because the most exciting part of basketball has officially kicked off, the WNBA. And they were talking about how the women need chartered jets, just like the men, and how it's not right for their safety to be flying public. And they specifically said, something about Brittany Griner and her safety. Listen, man, the WNBA, it's a losing business. It's a horrible product. It's not making money. Throw the whole goddamn league away. Stop it already.
I'm not going to.
Even Shaq was on Drink Champs and said, I have a solution for the WNBA. I know how you fix it. Just lower the rim just a little bit. Just a little bit. So they could dunk. All they missing is the dunking. The girls, they got the jump shots. They got the layups. They're just missing the dunking. If I was on there with him, I would have said, Shaq, you couldn't be more wrong. And I know what you're doing. You're doing what you have to do because you're an ex-pro ball player and they're the, lack of a better term, the sister league. So you're championing for your sport because you were part of the sport. But stop it. Stop it. I posted a clip of a WNBA game. And I was going, and I had it on my TV. And as I'm letting the TV play out, I'm doing voiceover. And I'm going, here we go. What's going to happen here? She passes the ball. Jump shot. Okay. They're dribbling down. What's going to happen here? Guess. Layup. Another jump shot. And another jump shot. And a layup. And it's just like, dude, and I get, and what's so crazy to me is 80% of the feedback was people agreeing with me, predominantly dudes. But to some of you dudes, hand in your fucking man card. I swear, when you guys say some of what you say, I could literally tell your girl got two pistols to you. One barrel is at the temple of your head, and the other barrel is on your nutsack. You niggas are hostages. Stop it.
Okay.
But before you say that, let me say this. And again, as far as the women getting equal pay, as far as the women getting equal respect, It's not about being chauvinistic. It's simply about business. The WNBA is not as good a product. The women do basic chest passes, basic bounce passes, jump shots, and layups. That's 99.9% of it. I should say 100, because if there was at least some dunking, then I'd go 99.9. But that's all it is. And here's why I say the men are a better product. Who's the woman that dominates in the paint like Shaq? Who's the woman that does a sky hook like Kareem? Who's the woman that breaks ankles and crosses you over like AI? Who's the woman that shoots like Steph Curry? Who's the woman that jumps through the air with grace, hang time, and dominant scoring ability like Michael Jordan? Who's the woman that rebounds with the ferociousness of Dennis Rodman? Who's the woman that plays with her back to the basket with post moves like Hakeem or Tim Duncan? Listen, folks, it's not chauvinistic to admit the truth. There are some things men do better than women, and women do better than men. That's the way we're built. And we cannot be fair in everything. We're not equals in everything. That's okay. That fact is okay. Stop it already. If the women put asses in the seats, if the women sold as much merchandise, if the TV ratings were just as good, then they would get paid as much as the men. It's not about sexism. You have a weaker product, a product that doesn't make as much money. The NBA is losing money on the WNBA. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. So here's my point to what you're saying. And I'm not disagreeing with you on the product at all. And I'm not really disagreeing with you. But what I would say is you just shouted out a bunch of men who play the game and who dominate their position in the sport.
With better skills.
Okay. But
more entertaining.
Yeah, but they had time to develop that skill. If you think about it, think about the original NBA was chest passes, bounce passes.
You talking about when it was first born?
Yeah, and so was the WNBA first born. And it's not that all I'm saying is no.
How long does it take them to do? If they had the ability, they would do it.
No,
but they don't. And it's okay because they're not equal to us.
But just wait a second.
Okay.
It took years to develop that team. When did they start playing basketball? 40s?
I don't know the exact time period, but
I'm assuming it was somewhere around the 40s, and basketball was almost dead in the 70s. And it took to the 80s to become the product that you're seeing today. What makes me mad about the women is they're demanding equal pay for an inferior product that they haven't taken the time to develop, but they think that they deserve it because men are making this much money. It doesn't make a difference with the men. They develop that league. Most of the guys who started out in the NBA or any male sport, they started out with a season and then they were working regular jobs at a grocery store, auto mechanic. They didn't make their living off that sport. You're getting to make your living off the sport that men have built, and now they're doing this other product for you and for women and for our culture. All of that is true, but develop your fucking sport. That's my problem with it.
And it wouldn't hurt if women would support their league.
Well, that would be very helpful, but you also said something else. Do you mind watching women's tennis? I mean, if you had to watch tennis, does it make a difference? But would it make a difference to you if you're watching women's tennis or men's tennis? Because you don't like it that much, so if it was on the TV, would you be concerned about which one it was?
No.
There's slight changes in the women's game than there is in the men's game. And to Shaq's point, there are things that they can do. The three-point line is closer, so that is one thing that they can do. There are little things that they can do, maybe more of a European-style setup. There are things that they can do. And golf, the tee box has moved up. I didn't know that. Yeah, there's things that they do in the professional sport. So maybe there is
women
make it so that the game is played.
But
visually,
similar. But see, even to that, which I didn't know about the 3-point line being closer and what you just said about women's tennis. So again, you scream equality, but yet you're doing things to give you the advantage because you are a woman. That's why I'm saying, dude, it's okay. Let's accept the reality that we are different. Men, would you agree to this? I know that there are women that play sports professionally, obviously. I know that there are women like a Serena Williams, a Venus Williams. I don't know much about women in golf, but put it like this. Yes, there are women that play sports and that are damn fucking good, championship-like or champions. But for the most part, wouldn't you say that sports is really a man's thing?
Well,
it's really it's warrior-like tribalism, machoism. That's man shit.
Okay, let's take it to let's take wrestling or let's take boxing. In that, I would say that boxing. I would say let's start with boxing. Boxing is a man's sport that was developed as a man's sport. It's a man's sport, but women box. But women box other women, and women box in weight classes. Men box in weight classes because no one wants to see someone get beat up for no reason. They want to see it to be fair. And so women's sports are women, and I mean that it's a woman's sport. Tennis, man, when you watch two women play, great athletes, and you whatever the slight difference in the rules to make it work, man, that game works. Dude, when I'm telling you, I like watching women's golf because I like to learn from women's golf because women have a pure, perfect swing. Men don't. Men monster that fucking ball up there.
That was something else that was juicy that some of you men would say. Fundamentally, women's basketball is more fundamental. If you want to teach your sons about the game from a correct standpoint, they should watch women's basketball because they're more fundamentally sound. So you telling me your son can't learn from watching the men? The men aren't fundamentally sound?
Some men are fundamentally sound. Other men have different kinds of shots that work for them. But the other thing is, why? So young men should be the only ones to support the WNBA? Because when you go to the games, they're not full.
Okay, but even
and you could ask women, what's their favorite WNBA player? I'm asking all of our women right now that listen to this. What's your favorite WNBA player? And you can tell me famous players because they went to jail in Russia, but you can't tell me famous players. Just
Cheryl Swoop or Lisa Leslie.
So few and so many few. I bet men know more famous women basketball players than women do.
Listen, but that goes more to my point again. When you go to the arenas or you see it on TV, the arenas aren't full. Instinctively, I don't think guys want to rush to go to a WNBA game. That's what I'm just saying. To me, sports has always been a boys/men thing. Rough rumble, tumble, physical contact, sweating, grunting. And again, women participate. There are women that are awesomely great at it. There are women who are champions. There are women who are to be respected. I'm just saying, sports is really at the heart of it, at the core. Sports is a man's thing.
Well, and there's a couple other points you made. You said because it was about the charter planes. First of all, that plane flight that was the problem with Brittany Griner. She was approved and was supposed to use a charter flight, not the general public flight. Which, just to go back to what my original point is, when Michael Jordan first started playing in the NBA, they were flying commercial flights. So it wasn't like they didn't start off with commercial flights. Now
start off with private planes.
Yeah, private planes. Yeah, they had to work their way into where it was necessary. Women, it just doesn't happen because a wand was waved. This is what we're doing in this country right now, is we're trying to legislate and make things happen because it feels good. But there's history behind how things work sometimes. You have to go back and go, hey, these guys put in the time. They put in the effort. These stadiums were built for them. You're getting to play in them off the back of that game that was developed by the people who didn't make money, who played on the clubs, who had a regular job at the mechanic station on the off season, who put in that work and effort. You get to stand on their shoulders. But you have to bring up your game to value it at that rate to get what you want out of it. And unfortunately, listen, look at Kenny Smith when they talk about Kenny Smith on
Inside the NBA.
When they're talking to Kenny Smith and they're talking about the contracts, even Charles Barkley and Shaq, when they see the new contracts, they're like, they're sitting back because it's changed. The money is different. I know you want your money to be there too. And listen, change your game, work at your game, build that game up, and you will be there too. But you're asking for it because men make this much, but it has been over a long period of time. You've been there a short amount of time. I want the WNBA game to work because I want girls to be able to play sports because...
you know what? Let me say that too. Because I have a daughter. I have daughters. It's like, look, yeah, you don't want any door of opportunity to be closed. I'm just saying, and I want to be clear, I'm not coming from the standpoint of women don't deserve the same pay as men. I'm just saying that the product has to validate the economics. The men are a better product. Because when women, and Brittany Griner, who I was really speaking to a quote of hers, but it's like, You want equal pay, and you're acting like it's sexist that you're not getting it. But the bottom line is, you have to demand. There has to be a reason why you're getting that money, and it's business. It's not sexist. It's not personal. It's business, and the product is inferior to men's, and I believe it's because of ability. If you could fly through the air and do a 360 dunk or put back dunk, like I said, if you could cross over like AI, if you could shoot like Steph, dominate the paint like Shaq, play like MJ, now the product is better, which means better TV contracts, higher ratings, more merchandise sales, more stadiums sold out. Now you got to be paid accordingly. But to say you want to be paid accordingly and your product stinks, no.
I think that the product is still in development. I think just like the NBA, these players came along as people got better and better at it, and more people were playing, and more people were attracted to the game. The same thing will happen.
So as long as basketball has been around, way past the days of black and white on TV, way past the Bill Russell era when there were limited teams and limited seasons, to where it is right now, don't you think it's been enough time that if the women could honestly do those things physically, they would have done it?
The WNBA is 20 years old.
But the NBA is more than 20 years old.
Yeah, and the NBA can do it now because they attracted to the men to come into the game that could do better and continue to grow. Athletes went into other sports, instead of going into other sports, went to basketball, and that developed the game where we have the people that we do today. Give the women another 20 years, and they're going to have a good product. I think they're going to have a good product. But they need to take that time and stop complaining that they're not getting the same thing, because you're not on the same level. And when I hear them I hear the WM, well, we have to go play in Russia. We have to. Do you know how many people play, American basketball players play in other countries? And if you remember, even when Tony Kukoc was talking about coming to America, he had to take a pay reduction. There is money in the European sports leagues. Men go to those leagues. Men who play in the NBA, who are under contract, not the top players in the NBA, but there's NBA players who could make more money in Europe. So men go through the same thing as well. There is money in Europe, and that's why women are going there to make that money. And this is where some of the complaining is coming across, because they can't make as much as on the in the WNBA, but there's players playing in the NBA, male players, that could be making more if they were to play in Europe.
Until I see it, I just don't. Biologically, I just
think, they don't have to.
What?
They don't have to biologically play the same as the men, because when you look at tennis, women playing against women, the game looks great.
Yeah, but basketball is a different animal.
But
than tennis.
If there was 10 people on the court that had those kind of skills, and they were playing above where they're playing now, and they would look good, it would look competitive.
From what we've seen and what we know, that in terms of what the men have shown us, anything less, what are we talking about? And I don't think biologically women will ever be able to do what a Vince Carter or a Dominique Wilkins could do. I don't think it's biologically possible.
I'm saying that if you stop for a second and look at women's tennis and what I'm trying to compare it to, women playing against women, the game is exciting. It looks great. Everything about it seems just as challenging as the men's. But if it was the men playing the women, it wouldn't look as challenging. But women playing the women, it looks challenging. If women have the skill set where they can cross, and there are girls that are going to be able to cross over like Allen Iverson, because they could be a little bit, and I'm not saying won't be as fast as Allen Iverson. What I'm saying is, even if they're not, the person they're playing against isn't as quick. So it's going to look similar. The game will look competitive. It'll look like it has that kind of skill level because they're playing against the other side that has the same similar skill level.
Let me tell you something. I've been fucking real pussy for so long that if you said, Aries, we got the state-of-the-art robot, it's going to look similar. It's going to feel similar, real close, but it ain't that. That's not good enough for me. Because I'm used to the real thing. That's what I'm used to.
I'm not worried about what you're worried about, because plenty of people will take that other thing. That's you. I'm saying that there is a league that can be built that people could be proud of, and people are going to spend money, and people are going to wear the shirts, and they're going to be part of that whole atmosphere and that whole what it is. But they need to develop it and stop. I understand you need fair things. I understand that you want to be safe. Those all things make sense to me. Address those as those happen. But going back to your Brittany Griner thing, she was approved to be on a non-commercial flight. She was supposed to be on a chartered flight. So that has nothing to do with what they're talking about on the news right now. She should have been on the right flight. She wasn't. That's where this occurred from. Go read about this. Go look it up. She was approved for.
Is this how it bled into the Russia thing?
No, well, this is why I brought up Russia, because Brittany Griner has a lot to do. This is where people get the information, because she is, I don't want to say the most famous, but she has the most written about her right now because of what happened to her in Russia.
Yeah.
And someone else just got in trouble in Russia for a guy got in trouble in Russia for weed. And we'll see when the statement was made. If it was LeBron James, he would already be back at home. And my point was, if it was LeBron James, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble because he wouldn't have brought anything with him. That's number one. Number two, no, you don't necessarily get to come home. And I'm going to see, I bet this musician doesn't get to come home right away either. So we'll see what's happening. I just think we just try to do every situation is its own individual situation, and we try to compare it to others. And I see why sometimes it's needed to compare it to others, but in this case, I don't think it was. I think the WNBA will get there. I think it'll be as good as tennis. I think it'll be as good as golf. I think the WNBA has a chance to put it together if they continue to grow their sport and attract more female athletes.
There's no woman on this planet that'll ever play like Shaq. There's no woman.
Yeah, but okay, that's great. How is Shaq still playing?
No.
Okay, but the NBA is still going on? But there's no one else who can play like him.
But that's a fucking stupid point.
No.
Because
you're using the greatest players.
No, what I'm using is there's a history of great big men.
Yeah.
Bill Walton, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. Now, yes, they may not
over years.
Wait a minute. They may not be Shaq. But there are men, all those men that I name can dominate the paint. Like real big men. I don't think they got one woman right now, Brittany Griner, who doesn't even do that. And she's their best bet. You think somebody's going to come along that's going to be better than her and do what Shaq does?
That's exactly what they said about Bill Russell.
Here.
Do you think someone's going to come along better than Bill Russell?
Yes, and there have been.
Right.
There's a history of them.
And there'll be a history for the WNBA when
I'll
you give them
believe it
enough
when
time.
I see it.
You probably won't be alive.
So at some point,
you'll probably be dead by the time that happens.
So at some point, there'll be a woman who does what Michael Jordan can do?
No. Because I don't think there's anybody who's done what Michael Jordan could do.
You keep saying that like you're missing the point. I'm not saying like, yes, there'll never be another Michael Jordan. Kobe became the closest, but we still had a Kobe.
You're right. You know what? I think Dave Chappelle is the best comedian, so no one should do comedy anymore because no one's better than Dave
stupid
Chappelle.
Point. What the fuck does that have to do? Dave Chappelle, we're talking about a field in which both men and women, black, white, gay, straight, it don't matter. Comedy is very different from sports.
What I'm saying is they don't need a Michael Jordan. They just need people that are competitive and can play the game at a higher level.
Absolutely.
At a higher level.
They absolutely need a Michael Jordan. They absolutely need a Michael Jordan.
We would have been fine without a Michael Jordan. We would have had a Kobe Bryant.
Okay, but we had Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
But it was over a period of years, and it's about playing.
And we had Dr. J. And we had Vince Carter. And we had Tracy McGrady.
How many years?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does, because take the first 20 years of NBA and take the first 20.
Biologically is what men do. So you're going to always have another person of that caliber. Biologically, but women can't do what men can do.
We understood. Take the first 20 years of the NBA and compare it to the first 20 years of the WNBA. Don't compare Michael Jordan after the NBA was almost out of business and wasn't even going to happen anymore. They're going to shut it down in the 70s. Thankfully, we had Larry Bird and we had Magic Johnson that were able to prop up the NBA and make it popular.
So you believe one day there'll be a woman who passes like Magic?
Yeah, well, there have been women that pass pretty well. The chick who was on the Suns.
The chick was that?
I don't remember her name.
Exactly.
No, because she doesn't. I don't watch.
Be so good, you are absolutely memorable.
But okay, how many people? Tell me the other. Tell me in 1958.
I went around in 1958.
Okay, but we're not paying attention to this team in 2020.
I sounded like that dude from Bill Maher. I wasn't there for the French Revolution, but I know about it. So what's your point about 1958?
You don't know the players that were playing in the NBA at that time. You don't know them because they weren't that good.
I get what you're saying. Everything evolves. I get that. But what I'm saying is biologically, it is what it is.
But if women are playing against women, the game is going to look good.
Okay, so that's your sticking point.
That's my sticking point. Just like tennis looks good. Serena's a great tennis player, right?
Yes.
You think she looks good.
Yes.
But do you think she plays the game the same way the men do?
No.
So, but you can watch Serena play, and it's a great game because she's playing against another woman. The match looks great. It's a great game to watch.
But to me, listen, first of all, I'm not a tennis fan. I don't watch tennis. But what I'm saying is tennis is a totally different animal. What encompasses a great NBA product is everything, like I said, the mixtures and the variety of what the men bring physically, all in one game. You can tune on any night and catch this team versus that team. One night you're looking at when they were playing a Tim Duncan, an Allen Iverson, a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant, and we could keep going through every decade, every era where you go this guy, because biologically men bring that to the table.
Okay, let's just
if biologically women never bring to the table what men can do, then I don't understand how you see it.
Okay, what I'm trying to explain to you again is, and I don't know why why we're on two different pages right now. Men had college basketball before they had in the NBA. Men had been exposed to playing sports in that way. They've been exposed to the game in that way, and they developed the game and went into the NBA. And no one knows who any of those players are. Very, very few people know who all the players are in the NBA in the 50s and going into the 60s. And that's where the WNBA is now, minus they didn't have all the college teams and the college hoopla. The college game was bigger than the NBA game back then. So they had people playing sports. They were bringing people out. Women are going to come that have a game that against other great women against other great women, the game will look great. Will it be the NBA game? It's never going to be the NBA game, Aries.
That's my point.
But it doesn't make a difference because it's going to be the WNBA.
But it does make a difference.
No.
That's why they're not getting paid what they want to get paid. The results, they're not getting the results.
They're not getting paid because their game it's still underdeveloped. It hasn't grown into the real WNBA that will happen if it's given the time for it to happen.
Okay.
There's not enough women that have played this sport yet.
And you think that's what it is?
Yeah. Listen, there was not going to be a Michael Jordan without a Dr. J. And there's no NBA without a Bill Russell. You need these people that anchor it and bring it and develop and bring more people into the game. More people want to play the game. Do I think that anybody's ever going to dunk? Do I think I'm going to see a woman dunk like a Michael Jordan? No. Unless they do what Shaq said. Lower it 6 inches. Lower it 6 inches. And I honestly don't have a problem with that. And I know women aren't going to like that, but there's adjustments made in other professional sports.
Okay, let's just say they lowered the rim. And the women had the ability to dunk. You see a woman being able to dunk like Michael Jordan with the poetic lean and the physicality of a LeBron or a Dominique with a windmill and fucking hang time and cocking it back and all kinds of physical movements. And
if you lower the rim, the hang time doesn't need, it's going to seem like they're longer hang time because they have more on the way down. Yeah, I think that it can be done. Look, you know what the best way to do it is go look at women's track and field and see how competitive women are in track and field. That's the difference. That's the separator. How much faster are men in the 100-yard dash than the women? That's the comparison. When you move that, it's tenths of a second.
But you're talking about running. We're talking about basketball, physical skill sets that are more than just running.
You're talking about practice.
Are you going to try to make that joke stick?
Say it. This is practice. You're talking.
Do you believe, it's plain and simple, biologically, physically, are we equal?
No.
Okay, so
I'm not saying that we're equal.
All right, so you don't think from that standpoint, because we're not equal physically, biologically, when it comes to being able to do certain things. So you're telling me that if we're not that, all you're saying is just give it time and they'll be able to do it.
No, I'm saying they'll have a very respectable league, just like you watch tennis, just like you watch golf. When you watch boxing, do you tell women, hey, you're never going to be able to hit as hard Muhammad Ali? You can't hit like Muhammad Ali. You can't rope it up like Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali was never a hard hitter.
But he was, I said rope it up. You can't lean on the rope. He could knock me out. But let's say all the things that he could do.
You knock yourself out trying to think.
But all the things that he could do, there's never going to be a Tyson. So should we just get rid of women's boxing?
I'm not saying we should, but which is the better product and why?
We already understand that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're ever going to get paid even the same.
Well, that's the argument.
No.
They want equal pay, but they don't have equal ability.
I don't care about their ability. I care, can they put as many seats, can put as many asses in the seats?
What do you
can they sell as much product?
What do you think makes that happen? Selling product and putting asses in the seats. What do you think makes that happen?
Okay.
Ability.
Okay, so when you go to a tennis match and the women are getting just as many asses in the seats as men are for the tour, then your ability argument's gone.
I can't speak to tennis. I don't know tennis.
Okay, well, just trust me. The women are getting as many people in the seats, and their prize money is equal. It's not equal. I mean, it's never going to be as much for the men.
Let me say something. Maybe you can fill me in because you obviously know tennis better than I do. So let me be ignorant for a second. I don't know what the difference is, and you'll tell me if you haven't told me already. Tell me what the difference is. But when I'm looking at Serena play, and I watch Andre Agassi play, what vastly different am I looking at? What's the biggest difference?
The speed that they run at, the power that they hit the ball at.
But as far as what the game,
service,
okay, but as far as what the game is, hitting the ball back and forth and trying to make your opponent fuck up, it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Men and women. It's the same.
It's the same game.
Okay. Basketball for men is not the same game as the women.
It is the same game. There's 2-point shots and there's 3-point shots. You score based on the shooting, right? What's the difference? You want to make it about the elegance and the power of the game.
It's a business. It's a show.
I understand that. But the game hasn't evolved for women. Women will get to the area where they can compete, and it will look like a great game. It will never be the same. Women are not going to serve the same speed as a man serves in tennis. No one's not going because the women aren't serving as fast as the men and hitting the ball as hard. The court size is different.
Okay.
People still go.
Okay.
You can put out a product if people will pay for it. I'm saying people will pay for it if you give them the chance to develop the team. But they're not going to get a chance to develop the team because they're complaining that they need the same money now. And they haven't earned that money. They haven't developed the team yet.
Unless the WNBA folds, whether they get the same money right now or not, as long as they're still allowed to exist and keep doing what they're doing, that's going to give them a time that you say they need to grow. And when they give that, whatever that proper amount of time is, according to you, that's when we'll see them evolve in such a way where the game will be as good as the men's.
You keep saying as good.
You said as good.
No.
Rewind the tape.
I said
you said as good.
A respectable game that you can watch, that you're going to want to enjoy.
You said as good. I swear to God you did.
I said it will look as good because women are playing against women. Men play against men. And the game will find its place in there. Because if men are playing at 10 and women are playing at 9, let's just say it that way. That's the only way that I can say it.
I don't even think it's that close.
But let's just say that's what it is. 10 and against a 10 looks right. A 9 against 9 looks right. But when right now, we're comparing a game that's at 4 with a game and we're comparing it to a game that's at 10, and that is never going to be the same.
And my point is they'll never get past 4.
Yeah, I think they will.
I don't. All right.
They already look better. The shots look better. The 3-point shots don't look like they're chucking them up and they're falling down when they're taking them now. They look like they're taking a 3-point shot. They used to look like they're going to lean over and fall down on the court.
Right. Okay, this movie.
Yeah, we got 7 minutes.
Well, we don't have to do it by the book and be an hour.
I know.
And I don't really have much on this or the Andy Warhol. The movie is, you told me to see this action British movie.
A UK man food movie.
You hear that, Brandon? Where are you, cocksucker? We got one for you, you blimey bastard. What's it called?
It's called Avengement. My son turned me on to this movie. It's Scott Adkins, Craig Fairbass, Thomas Turgoose. I'm not saying these words right. I'm sure.
Yeah, Thomas Turgoose.
Nick Moran. Give him a bunch of them. But I actually liked the movie. I watched it and I was like, the whole time I'm watching it, before we even get into it, I'm just going to go, damn, they could make this into an American movie. And
They should have.
Well, a lot of movies get remade.
The lead dude looks like a tough Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, he looks like Ryan Reynolds in what's the superhero?
Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool. He looks like Deadpool without the mask on.
Yeah.
Dude, he did a great job. Come on, man.
Listen, man, I gotta be honest with you, man. America, we are the big dick and balls as far as Hollywood action, explosions, beat 'em up, shoot 'em up, kill 'em up. This is our territory. I can't get past you motherfuckers with them accents, man. There, chipper chopper there, mate. Oh, maybe in LA, Luke. Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah, governor, bloody boss it. And then, wait, finicky. And then action. The accents, man, I cannot get past it. What's wrong with him? Oh, this fucking blowing me cocksucker.
Dude, in the beginning of the movie.
Cheers, mate. Another ale, please.
When he first goes to jail, there's hardly any words in this movie. It's just one ass kicking after another ass kicking.
And then that's the other thing. It feels like because the story, again, it was hard for me to get past the accent, so I'm trying to track this story. It feels like they overcompensate with ridiculous amounts of nonstop action and blood because there's really not much there.
Yeah, I know when you heard that first arm break that you had.
The arm break, dude, shoots the kneecap.
Yeah, but that's not till later.
Oh,
that I knew you were gonna lose it at that part. You didn't like all the prison, the beat up scene, the fight.
Yes, yeah, with the teeth on the thing, and
that's the very beginning. The teeth.
Yeah, it's just nigga stabbed in the same place 82 times,
and then the teeth. Then you see him the next time. He has all silver teeth.
Yeah,
dude, I loved it, man. And when he's out there and he's fighting, and then he finds out when the guy says, "I'm sorry, it's not personal," because it was his brother that's trying to get him killed. Who is the gangster? This is actually a good guy that's a boxer that just fucks up a lot. And he ends up in prison, and then his brother wants to have him taken out because he's afraid he's going to give him up.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. The English act. That's why I fell off of, what was it, Peaky Blinders?
Yeah.
Was that the name of the show?
Yeah, Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, that's why I fell off of that. Dude, seeing dudes be tough guys with that accent, it takes me out of it.
Well, that country was here before this country, so there were tough guys in that country before there was ever tough guys in this country.
Okay, and America does what it does best. It stole what it needed to be number one.
So they're out there, and he gets out. He escapes from prison. I like that they don't let you know anything about his escape from prison other than he shows up basically at the bar.
Right.
And he gets in there, and it's very I love the bad guy. I like the accents when they're in the bar and they're talking, and that guy's telling his story about how the one guy, how his friend got killed, and he was trying to stop it from happening, and then the guy's just laughing because we find out.
We got Tom. Won't you humor me? Oh, really? What happened? What are you gonna do? I don't believe you. Come on, mate. Cheers. Hello. What's wrong with you? Get the fuck out of here, man. I can't buy it. I don't buy toughness. When you got a Stallone, he sounds like this, yeah? Sounds like a real badass. You got tough guy, dominator. But, then you got Wesley Snipes. You got fucking. You like
the transporter, though? You like his accent?
Yeah, but I didn't jump on the transporter till late. But he's the only one. He's the lead. He's the only one with the accent. Everybody else doesn't have an accent. So I can buy that a little bit. But just a room full of tough guys, all of them just, so what you trying to say, bloke? Oh, don't believe him? Fuck that. Move that table back, you slimy bastard. Get the fuck out of here, man.
You're selling them short, man.
Nah, man. Listen, I'm an American, Jack. You know what I mean? We come from this. We come from badasses. Clint Eastwood. Fucking Mel Gibson. Fucking
Mel Gibson's from Australia. He's from American, but he's from Australia.
Well, then fuck him. Bruce Willis. Fucking Stallone, Wesley Snipes.
Stallone's not from here either. We don't know where he's actually from.
I'm from a place called Yo. Yeah, man. Rambo, Commando, Die Hard.
Yeah, but
Lethal Weapon.
You're trying to take Arnold. Arnold's not from here either.
But fuck, you know, he's been here long enough.
That scene, though, dude, I love all the bar scenes, all the fight scenes, and the way the story unfolds. It was done like a play in the bar because it's like it's all happening in that one room. Dude, I know we don't. I know you didn't love it. Do you have any notes on it that you do want to talk about?
Not really. That's it.
I loved it.
I'm just this accent. I'm watching the whole thing on. They're fucking killing me.
So just the accent's ruining this for you.
Yeah.
The fight scenes were fucking awesome, dude. I don't care what you say. The prison fight scenes, I think they could have lost one or two of those fight scenes because it was a bit much. But then when they unravel the story, and you kind of know where the story's going, and they let you know, you're in on it. I just thought it was. I'll
tell you right now, I don't want these trouble in here. I don't want it. And what you think? I'm gonna give you your money. I'm not fake, so. What you think? Fuck out of here, think. What's wrong with this bloke? What are you thinking? I don't want no trouble in here. It's gonna come in here, mate. It's jibba.
So is that what bothered you? Was just the accent? You couldn't get past the accent.
It's so wild to me.
It's such a good movie.
It sounds too light. Like they're light in the toes.
So what you need is some British person beat your ass, and then you'll go, okay, maybe this is for real.
To beat my ass?
Yeah.
A bloke won't do it. He won't get a chance. You think you want me? What are you thinking? Oh, damn it, to stare you. This bloke is crazy. So it's mine. Fuck out of here, nigga, talking like that.
You don't feel that way, though, about the Irish accent. Was it the Irish accent? Yeah.
Oh, the joke I do?
Yeah.
Because them Irish niggas get down. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I said when I did that. God, I guarantee you one good shot to put it in the fucking ground.
Listen, I don't care what Aries says. If you have a problem with the English accent, don't see this movie. If you do, if you can get past the English accent, that sound, check this movie out.
It sounds like when they rob you, they say, please. Give me your wallet, please.
Well, they are very polite about how they go about that.
I want your money. Hand it over, can you please?
It was Avengement, and I think it's a good movie. It's all action, though. It's all action. It's all fights in the prison, and then it's a fight in the bar. And those are that's the movie. Fights in the prison, fights in the bar, and the story is weaved in there. And it's a decent story. I really think that this will be made into a film here in the States, if it hasn't already, and we just didn't see it. But I think it's worth catching.
Brandon Cocksucker from the UK. What you think? Let us know what you think. Did you see this movie?
And this isn't about Aries' culture, by the way, too, because Aries went to the Andy Warhol Museum.
And let me tell you another thing. Brandon is a black man. He told me I'm a black guy from the UK. I know in Europe, you guys go say, mate. Cheers, mate. But because you're black, Brandon, I'm going to replace mate with ape. Cheers, ape. Fucking cocksucker. Blimey, bastard. We went to the Andy Warhol Museum.
He did.
They should have had it set up so that when you open the front door from the loudspeaker, immediately you hear, "It's a raining man, hallelujah! It's a raining man."
There are some sketches. And Aries was like,
here we go. Here we go.
Dude, there was more in the movie. Now I'm not gonna. What's the movie with Jonah Hill? The very first ones, Jonah Hill, and where he's in high school.
Oh, I know that movie, but I don't know that movie.
Well, I know
exactly what you mean.
There's more dick drawings in that movie than there was at the Andy Warhol Museum.
You said they took them out, though. You said there was.
Yeah, there was the other ones I wanted you to see, which was called Guy. It would have been so funny if you would have got to see. It's Guys and Ladies and Gentlemen is what it's called, and it's at the time. I think he said that when they were talking about it, was the people that were the top drag people in New York, or a lot of drag queens in New York is what it was, and. That's he did a lot of photos with them, and there was some very interesting things about it. I wanted Aries to see that so bad, but that isn't up anymore. That's down.
You know, I know art is subjective, but it amazes me. Like when we first went in there, I think maybe the first couple things we looked at, it looked like some of them drawings was done by 8-year-olds. And I'm like, these are some of the pieces that will go for hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. It looked like I could do some of that shit.
Art always makes people think that they can do it until they have to go.
Well, I mean, once you get to the more really elaborate pieces,
Yeah.
And the obvious pieces, that you go, well, that took some complexity, or some real talent. But some of that shit, I'm like, give me a fucking break, man. You showed me one piece. I took a picture of what it was called. Oxidation.
I showed you that one on purpose. That was one of the ones I got to. Oxidation prints.
I'm looking at this motherfucker, and I wish I could describe it.
What did you think when you first saw it? You didn't know what it was?
Not at all.
It's
It's a long rectangular piece. Look like basically gold, right? Colored. Yeah. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections on the piece. It looked like odd what the fucks. I don't know what the fuck you make of it. How you
like
describe
a Rorschach, where it's just like this pattern that you don't really know what it is.
Right. And you told me what it is, which is
he would have his assistants come in and pee on the canvas after he set it up, and they were called oxidation prints. And depending on what drugs, I'm just telling you from what I've read on this, depending on what drugs his assistants or the people who were coming in would do. And if someone famous came in and he had a canvas ready, he would ask them if they would go and pee on the canvas. And
it's dried up piss.
Yeah, the piss interacts with the chemicals that are on there and makes what he calls oxidation prints.
Welcome to art, ladies and gentlemen.
And
pull your dick out and piss on a canvas.
I don't know how many
hanging on your wall.
I don't know how many of those were ever sold. I don't know if they were ever. I don't know if there was ever a gallery showing of his oxidation prints that was all about his oxidation prints. But I just know that was something that he was doing towards the. That wasn't the beginning of his. That was later on down the line after he was already famous. He was doing that.
Yeah.
But there were some cool things that I was disappointed. Like the sports figures that were hanging up there before, they're all gone. So there was no Muhammad Ali that I got to show you, which I think is a good print. There's a Wayne Gretzky that was not there. There were several different prints that were up there before. But the giant skulls, that room is still there. The room where you could do a screen test to become an Andy Warhol superstar, that room was gone. So and there was another room that was really cool that they took out where it was all the computers, and I forgot what computer it was that he started off with. Mac was one of them, but there was other computers because Warhol was one of the first to really try to use the paint tools for fine art with computers. So that was in there. They took that out. The movies, they moved them around, and the movies I knew that was going to be funny too, because there's a movie that he has called Kiss. And it's all different people kissing, and of course there are two guys kissing. And as soon as Ari saw that one, I think you left. You just left that area. You were just done. But
deep mouth kissing.
Yeah, and some of them are really awkward kisses. Some of them are really. It's just all different people kissing. I tried to get you back because Warhol was ahead of the time, though. He did have a biracial couple up there kissing each other. So. Right. So, he was ahead of his time. There was guys kissing. There was a black man and a white woman kissing. Right. There's a white woman and a black man. So, yeah, he was ahead of his time. That's the Kiss. He has all kinds of weird movies, and that was one of them that was playing. And they had this whole thing where they took out a big section of stuff to do all the Velvet Underground stuff, which it was cool. It was a cool thing to see, but I would have rather had Ari seen some of the other Warhol retrospective parts of the museum that he had. But. Well,
I mean, it really wasn't my cup of tea, but thank God Andy and I brought a friend who did enjoy it. It is I, Jasper Megwa. Little story about me and Andy Warhol. It was the mid-'80s, and Andy Warhol and I were the best of friends. Not to mention, for 7 straight months, we were lovers. What we would do is in the heat of July, in his apartment in New York, in the village, the meatpacking district, we would have crazy amounts of aggressive sex all day, all night, all afternoon. And we would both have sex and enter each other's bodies until we explode with the most aggressive of semen. And we would get semen everywhere, on the refrigerator, on the floor, on the couch, on the television. We even got it on our baboon. And when I say baboon, I don't mean the monkey from Africa. I mean our adopted 19-year-old son that we got from Tanzania. His name was Baboon. And I'm just upset that Andy is no longer with me today. Because if he was, I would introduce him to my new friend, Andy Steinberg. And then we would have the most erotic threesome known to man. Me and the two Andys. Andy Warhol on the bottom, Andy Steinberg on the top, and me in the middle. I would shoot the piece, and I would call it French vanilla Foxley chocolate. I am Yasmin Bekwa.
I thought you were going to say something more about how I would piss on the canvas.
I would have all three of us in the sexual vanilla ice cream sandwich position, but reverse. And then I would have all of my assistants and all of Andy Warhol's assistants, all 9 of them, would piss on us at once. And that would be called the piece, Vanilla Foxley Chocolates Swims in Urine. Oh.
So that's the most you got out of the museum was the Jacques Macquarie.
Jacques Macquarie. That should be his name. Fuck Yasper, Jacques. It is I, Jacques Macquarie. I like that. Name change. Jacques.
That's what you got out of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, it was funny to watch you just give up. I saw you try. I saw you try to go, all right, let me check this out. Let me check. And as we got to each floor, because it's 7
You know
floors.
what I was thinking? Because you start off on the 7th floor and you work your way down. I think about the 3rd floor, I was like, when are we going to lunch?
Yeah, I knew. And as soon as we just, every time we'd go down one more set of stairs, your face just looked so disappointed. And then when we finally got done, I was like, I went to the gift shop. I went to get my Terra.
Well, first you went into the theater.
I went into the theater. I watched like 5 minutes of it. Then I left because I didn't want to make you wait. But I wanted to watch it because it was good. It was a good shit. It was a good show. It was good. It was about his early work. And it was about the people who got him, into the galleries. Anyway, and I really do understand the thought process behind pop art and looking at a Campbell's soup can as much as Americana as you would in France, looking at a bowl of fruit or flowers and how it represents who we are. And so I get it, and I like it. But then I went into the gift shop and I was trying to grab a few things. I want to get something for Tara, and then I was just like I can't leave him out there. That was. I just couldn't do it to you. So then I just got my couple shirts and I went and got you. But I just thought it was funny. And I came out and you're sitting on this velvety,
which was very comfortable.
Velvety sofa.
Very comfortable. It was leather. It was like a
and a giant Warhol over the top of you where he's holding up a Marilyn Monroe screen for printing. It was very funny. It was actually very surreal. I have a couple pictures from you in there that you will. We'll put up on the Patreon. I think it's funny. I really had a good time watching you at the museum.
Listen, when we're somewhere and there's, we're not, rather than stay in the hotel room, that beats. I'll go take a stroll, go do something. I'm open-minded to a lot of shit. There's no guarantees you're gonna enjoy it, but you try it. I tried it, and I actually listen. I like art. I really would love to get to a point where I hang some really nice pieces in my crib. But Andy Warhol, he's just...
You didn't like those Elvises?
That Elvis was cool, but I'd rather that with James Brown.
Yeah, I know what you would be looking at.
But
do you like that gun? The gun
one was cool.
Where I got a picture of you. I
said in the skull room, how big that skull picture was. If I could have that, but with Muhammad Ali on it.
The Muhammad Ali that he had, and it was done in a series. It's really cool. There's a comedian. Is it a comedian series? No, I think it was just a Jewish series. And they have the Marx Brothers, which is a really cool piece that I would love to have that. There's a few pieces that I would like to have, but the electric chair, I like of course, I like the Death and Disaster
that's creepy
series.
To me.
That electric chair by itself solely, it says so much with just that little chair in that big room. And it
Dude, like that, what's it called? The Death, what series?
Death and Disaster.
Dude, that picture you showed me before I knew that was real about the car that crashed and it hit the light post.
And the dude
flips out the front of his car and impales himself on the pole. I am not hanging that in my house.
I don't know that I would hang that one.
Me.
I don't know that I would hang that in my house, but that was just that was a series that he did. But some of the series that he has an American. The title of it at the time, I have to say it that way. The title of at the time was the American Indian series. It's a really good series. There's a bunch of series that he did just that I think are really good and just really kind of, I don't know, just kind of. But the room that we were in, I said, hey, that's Mr. Chow's wife, and those were all just like famous people that had commissioned works or portraits. Which some of those are good. Some of them he did for Interview Magazine. So because he did the covers for his Interview Magazine. And they had a lot more with Interview last time with the Interview Magazine, which I think is really, it extends a longer period of his life than just the Velvet Underground. It's a lot longer period of his life. So I like that series. I would have wished you saw more of that. But I got my cow print T-shirt that I'm wearing right now, which I love this cow print. There's several pieces that I would like to have of Warhol's, and one of them is I'd like to get another tomato soup can. I'd like some of the cow wallpaper, and I'd like an electric chair. Electric chair is the piece I'd like to have.
Eccentric is the right word, but he's a little too eccentric for me.
He's definitely out there, but he was out there, and that he changed. He was part of the group that really changed from where they were. I mean, the group before him was the Picassos, the Salvador Dalis, and they weren't real.
That one room we went in, and the film was, dude, I guess on his knees with the ball gag, with the leather spike sex thing on his head, and things clamped to his nipples, and some other dudes putting shit in his mouth. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's a fetish film, and he would film anything. He has films called Empire, which is just 12 hours of the sun on one side of the empire, and you watch the shadows of it move across. He has another one called Sleep, where you watch someone sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah, that kooky shit. I'm good.
He has all those then the fetish films, and there was not, and a lot of it wasn't even what he did. A lot of it was what was happening at the factory, and he welcomed all the weirdos, all the eccentrics, all the people.
Yeah, them motherfuckers like that. They got them weird shits, like
Well.
Let's fuck on a waterbed filled with piranhas. Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the fuck out of here, yo.
Well, there's a scene in the Doors movie where they go to the factory and then they're like, these guys are weird, and they leave. There was a big difference between California and New York at that time. Right. So, I don't know how much of that's true of the Doors going there and that's how it happened, but it's interesting. I'm big. I like pop art. I really do. I'm also colorblind, so the way pop art is structured, the colors, it really appeals to me. So, yeah, I'm cool with it. There's a lot of other artists that I like as much as Warhol, but still, it's good. It's a fun thing to do when you come to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and the motherfucker's apparently from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he grew up out here and changed the art world. Pittsburgh to New York. So there we go. Is that a show?
I think that's a show. Oof.
I got to give.
Coming.
I got to give some dates. Hold on a second.
Oh God.
That almost sounded like one of the people at the museum.
Yeah, especially in the leather gag.
I think all that culture is going to get to you today.
Oh goodness.
All right, guys, you're listening to this. It's going to be on probably the 21st when you're hearing this. And so, hey, that's right.
Dirty, baby, I got your money, dirty.
When you're listening to this, that's the week we're going to be in Tempe. I'm back at home, people. Aries and I are going to be at the Tempe Improv. That is June 23rd through the 25th. And then we've got a week off. And then we're going to end up in Irvine. And that is Irvine, July 6th to the 9th. And then we're going to hang out. Aries and I are going to put some podcasts together. We're going to get some interviews. I got Anna Ferreira lined up.
I'm trying to line some.
I don't know who else we're going to get. Possibly I got some people possibly here. So Irvine Improv, July 6th through the 9th. And then we're going to be in the Punchline in Sacramento, July 13th through the 15th. And the following week, we're going to be in Houston at the Houston Improv, the 20th to the 23rd. Looking forward to going back there. And this date just added, dun, 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 dun. Jacksonville Comedy Zone, July 27th to the 30th.
Remember there? What happened there?
What happened last time we were there?
Couldn't get my drinks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're back there.
That incident almost cost me them not bringing me back.
Why?
Because of the bartender. And they were hesitant, and then they finally gave me that date.
You know, what's funny about this is if you work at a comedy club, everything's on the table. I don't understand how people know you're working at a comedy club, everything's on the table. You got to leave your personal shit out of it. If I hear someone do a Jewish joke, I'm not going to lose my mind about it. If someone do any kind of joke, you can't. It's a comedy club. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But if you hear some people laughing, then you might want to go, are we at a comedy club?
Yeah.
We're at a comedy club. Anyway, again, we're going to be at Jacksonville Comedy Zone, the 27th through the 30th. And then on the opposite side of the country.
That sounded painful.
Almost, yeah, because it's almost, I hate when we do this. And I'm not complaining about my job. I just hate it when you're like in Florida, right?
Right.
And then you end up in San Diego the following week, which is one tip of the country to the other tip of the country.
Right.
But I love this. I love Mic Drop in San Diego. So very excited to go out there. And that is going to be August 3rd through the 5th. All right, guys, that's where we're at.
Robert Miller. The song is called Lady Brown Eyes by Ray Macho at Macho Man Robbie Savage. That's MachoManRobbieSavage. Lady Brown Eyes.
Why didn't you do it like Macho Man Randy Savage?
Because, sometimes I can't be perfect, nigga. Sometimes I need a little help. I be,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I told you I can't do it.
Macho Man Robbie Savage. Oh, yeah. It's called Lady Brown Eyes by Ray Macho. I got a lady brown eye, and she winks every time I take a piss or shit. Fucked it up. Is that you, Lady Brown Eye? She's winking. What you gonna do with that chair?
Yeah, you better get that chair back. All right, guys, there we are. There's the show. Enjoy.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Ari Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.